There are two methods to quickly and easily reduce the size of large pages or ePub file by 90%. One is automated while the other is manual but with greater control. So I have a Pages book here that's 231 pages long and it has a lot of images. That's why my file is very large. So first I'm going to export this to ePub and just provide some metadata for the file. And then I'm also going to export this as a PDF. Right now my Pages and PDF documents are over 80 megabytes and my ePub is over 28 megabytes. Now the size of your files may matter. For example, if you're sending it somewhere or if you're, let's say, publishing with Amazon KDP and you are being charged delivery fee depending on the size of your file. Before I do anything, I'm going to make a copy of my Pages file. Then I'm going to open my new file and then go to File, Reduce File Size. Here you have two options, reduce large images and or movies. Now I'm going to check the scale down large images option because my file has a lot of images. And at the very top, it shows me the current file size, which is over 80 megabytes, and what would be the estimated file size if I reduce my images. Now you can also trim down parts of your movies or also change the movie quality in your files. Once you're done, you can select to reduce this current file or make a copy of this file. Now I already made a copy previously, so I'm going to select reduce this file. When I go to my files now, I can see that the reduced file size is 7.7 megabyte from what it previously was, which was over 80 megabytes. If I open the smaller size and now I export it to PDF and ePub, these will also be much smaller than previously. Now Pages and PDF have been reduced about 90%, while ePub has been reduced by 73%, so still a large reduction in size. This is all great, but how is the quality of the reduced images? When I compare the images side by side, on the left you have the original file with the original size images, and on the right you have the reduced size. You can see some pixelation, blurriness in the image. When I compare the PDFs, it's the same thing. And then when I compare the ePubs, you also have some reduction in the image quality in the smaller file. Now, if you have a detailed image like I have here, it really matters because it takes away from the information you're trying to show. So I would like to have some more control on how much I reduce my images. Now let's go back to our file and I'm going to make another copy and call it small manual because manually we're going to adjust the size of our images. First way to manually adjust the size of your images is by going to your file, finding the image, clicking format on the right, unlocking the images if they are locked, clicking on image, then going to replace the images manually. However, that requires a lot of work because you have to find all these images throughout all your file, where they're located, and resize them and bring them back to the file. So I'm going to show you a very neat trick that very few people know about, how to reduce multiple images at once in super quick ways. You go to File, Advanced, change file type, and now you want to save your file not as a single file but as a package. If I go back to my files though, I can't tell that it's saved as a package, but if I right click on the file, I can select Show Package Contents, and under Data, I will have all the assets that are part of my file, which is all the images. And what's really great, that all the images names are exactly what I have when I imported them. Now here you can use any editing software that you have on your computer, or I can just use Preview by just double clicking on an image, and then under Tools, Adjust Size, I can reduce the size. Now the custom sizing not very helpful because these are all squares. Now if I have to specify width and height in pixels, that's also hard because then I have to calculate what size should be good, figure this out, and for each image might be different. So the easiest way to reduce your images is by using percentages. And here I can specify reduce it up to 25%. And you can manually adjust as you need it. And some images maybe you want to reduce 25% and others you may want to reduce 50%. And now I'm going to go back to my file and see if anything was reduced. But the size is identical to the original. So what you have to do, you actually have to open the file and just save it. go File Save or Command S to save it and close it, and now the file is reduced. Now I just reduced 3 images, so it didn't make that much impact, so I'm going to go back and reduce more. However, changing each of the images one by one, it's pretty work intensive. So another quick way to edit multiple images is selecting the images, right-clicking, and going to Quick Actions and selecting Convert Images. And here you can specify how big you want all the images. You can also use an editing software or online tools to edit multiple images at once. What is unbelievable is that all the images are in place, but your file size have been reduced and you didn't have to do a lot of manual work in finding the files individually. When I compare the images in the original file on the left, the automatically reduced in the middle, and the manually reduced on the right, you can see that I can strike a perfect balance between the file size and the image quality. When I compare the package file size for each of the files, you can see that Pages always saves a small size of your file, but then the large original file is the one that makes a difference. So now you have a lot of options in reducing the size of your pages, as well as PDFs or ePubs if you're exporting it from Pages. Thanks so much for watching.